You are not ugly. The mirror does not decide your worth. Your face is not fixed by fate. It is a canvas, shaped every day, not just by your genes, but by small habits you don't notice. It's not your nose, not your jawline, not your bones. It's the little neglects, the things you repeat without thinking, the choices that leave quiet marks, tired lines, dark shadows, faded skin. What ruins beauty is not destiny. It is forgetting to care, and what brings it back is awareness. Consider first the restless contact of your own hands with your face, a gesture so small it feels harmless, and yet, repeated 30, 40, 50 times in a day, it is nothing short of sabotage. Each touch carries with it invisible passengers, dust, oil, bacteria from the desk, the phone, the door, handles you press without thought. They find a new home upon your cheeks, your forehead, your chin, until they settle into pores and ignite the rebellions of acne and irritation. You blame your hormones, your diet, perhaps even the cruelty of life, but you rarely suspect that it is your own fingers waging war against your skin. The cure is not dramatic. It is awareness itself. To recognize the impulse to touch, and in recognizing it, to restrain it. To cleanse your hands with water and let your face breathe without intrusion. From this simple restraint comes clarity of skin, and clarity of skin is nothing less than the unveiling of your natural radiance. Now think of chewing, a mundane act, mechanical and instinctive, yet in its repetition lies a hidden sculptor that reshapes your very bones. When you favor one side of your mouth day after day, year after year, the jaw grows uneven, one muscle strong, the other neglected. Symmetry, that ancient language of beauty, begins to vanish. The human eye, whether it admits it or not, is drawn to balance, to faces that mirror themselves in harmony. And when that balance is lost, even subtly, the allure dims. Yet again, the solution is not far from reach. Discipline yourself to chew with both sides. Switch often. Allow time to restore equilibrium. In this, your own choices carve your beauty more than any sculptor's chisel could. But perhaps the most overlooked artist of the human face is light itself. Sunlight, ancient and eternal, is the silent painter that gives warmth to your complexion and fire to your eyes. Without it, you pale, you wither, you appear as though your spirit has retreated indoors. Locked away in dim rooms with screens for company, men grow gray before their time, their skin losing its glow, their gaze losing its spark. Step outside, if only for a short while. Let the sun kiss your skin. Let it breathe life into your blood. Let it stir within you the ancient rhythms of vitality. Yet remember that the sun, too, must be respected. Protect yourself from its excess with the shield of sunscreen, for moderation is the secret of all health. A face that sees the sun in balance is a face that radiates vitality. But what of sleep? Sleep is the great repairer, the nightly healer. To neglect it is to deny your body its most profound medicine. Look in the mirror after an all-nighter, and you will see the ghost of yourself staring back. Swollen skin, eyes drowned in shadows, complexion faded into dullness. Do this not once, but night after night, and you will carve into your face the permanent marks of exhaustion. Beauty does not belong to those who grind endlessly, but to those who understand the wisdom of restoration. To rest is not laziness, it is the deepest discipline. 7 to 8 hours of undisturbed silence, repeated faithfully, is worth more than any cream, more than any trick. Put away the glowing device that blinds your melatonin, let darkness reclaim its throne, and awaken with the face of renewal. A rested face is sharper, clearer, and infinitely more alive. Then comes the poison disguised as energy, caffeine. 1 cup, perhaps 2, and it lends you alertness. But worship it too often, and it turns on you. It drains your water, it parches your skin, it robs your rest, it leaves you jittering like a puppet pulled by strings. What you believe is vitality is only borrowed time, and the debt is written on your face. A dry complexion, eyes that quiver rather than pierce, an aura of strain rather than calm command. The remedy lies not in abandoning it entirely, but in restraint. 1 cup is ritual, 2 is indulgence, 3 is decay. Balance each with water, and you will see not the mask of forced energy, but the true strength that comes from nourishment, sleep, and discipline. Real presence does not tremble, it radiates. And then, stress, the shadow that stalks modern life. Stress is not merely a feeling, it is a sculptor of flesh. It tightens your jaw, it dims your eyes, it floods your skin with eruptions and accelerates the march of age. The weight of unrelieved stress writes itself into your very posture, your voice, your gaze. It is why exam weeks age students, why hard seasons mark men. You cannot erase stress, nor should you, for struggle is part of living. But you can master its rhythm. Move your body, breathe with intention, sit with silence, laugh with companions. In calming the storm within, you preserve the glow without. A tranquil face is not only beautiful, it is magnetic, for it speaks of inner mastery in a world of constant noise. Finally, the most poisonous habit of all, the abdication of responsibility. To look in the mirror and say, "It is genetics. I cannot change." This is not humility, it is surrender, and surrender to such a belief is ugliness itself. Genetics is the clay, but habit is the sculptor. Look at those who transformed themselves. Did they inherit perfection? No, they forged it. They worked with discipline, they built with patience. They revealed potential buried beneath neglect. 80% of beauty is choice, not chance. The gym sharpens your body, diet refines your glow. Grooming polishes your edges, sleep sculpts your youth, and style crowns it all. To hide behind genetics is to choose decay. To embrace your agency is to awaken the face you were always meant to show the world. Understand this. Your appearance is not static. It is alive, and it responds to your daily covenant with yourself. You are not ugly. You are unfinished. And every touch you resist, every hour you sleep, every step you take into the sunlight, every moment you free yourself from stress is a stroke of beauty returned to your being. What you become is not dictated by fate, but by the invisible rituals you choose in silence. To change your face is not vanity. It is the reclamation of your presence in the world. There is a truth about beauty that few dare to confront. It is not gifted entirely by nature, nor is it stolen entirely by time. Beauty is the reflection of how you live, and the face is its most honest witness. It records your discipline, your chaos, your indulgences, and your neglect. When you look into the mirror, you are not only seeing your features, you are seeing your habits crystallized into flesh. That is why the 7 hidden destroyers are not superficial inconveniences, but profound reflections of how unconsciously one lives. Each habit is a story written on the skin, a silent autobiography of choices repeated in shadows. Think of the man who cannot resist touching his face. He does not simply bring bacteria to his skin. He displays his restlessness, his lack of control, his constant need for small comforts. The impulse to scratch or press or rub is the body's way of revealing the mind's inability to stay still. And over years, this impatience becomes etched into the complexion itself. Skin is not merely damaged by dirt. It is damaged by the character that compels the hand toward the face. To restrain the hand is not only to protect the skin, it is to train the soul in the discipline of stillness. Now, imagine the slow asymmetry born of chewing only on one side. At first, it seems laughably insignificant, hardly worth attention. But nature does not forgive neglect. Over years, one side swells in power while the other weakens, and a once balanced face begins to tilt. Symmetry is the geometry of nature, the silent law that governs rivers, trees, and even galaxies. To violate it is to appear distorted, even when the difference is subtle. Here lies a deeper lesson. Neglect in small actions accumulates into visible deformity. To chew with balance is not merely a correction of habit. It is a remembrance that equilibrium in life, as in the body, produces harmony. And then, the sun, too often treated as an enemy or forgotten entirely. In truth, it is the first source of life itself. Without its fire, all things fade into pallor. A man who hides indoors loses more than color. He loses vitality. The glow of skin, the spark of the eye, the vigor of the posture, these are not produced by artificial lights or supplements, but by the living warmth of the sun. To walk under its gaze for even 20 minutes is to remind the body of its ancient pact with nature. A pale, tired face is the face of one who has broken that pact. And yet, the answer is simple. Rejoin the rhythm. Greet the morning light. Feel it on your skin. Let it awaken the chemicals of joy within you. Moderated by care, sunlight is not danger, it is medicine. But all of this collapses without the foundation of sleep. Sleep is the nightly death that makes rebirth possible. It is the workshop of restoration, where the body repairs and the spirit regains its balance. To rob yourself of sleep is to erode beauty at its roots. You may mask fatigue with coffee, with makeup, with forced smiles, but the face will betray you. No artist can paint vitality upon a canvas that has not been renewed by silence. Observe yourself after nights of deep rest, the clarity in your eyes, the firmness of your skin, the sharpness of your expression. That is not cosmetic. It is biological truth. To respect sleep is to respect your future self. For beauty is not maintained by vanity, but by rhythm. Caffeine, in this light, becomes a dangerous illusion. It promises energy while stealing hydration, promises alertness while disrupting sleep, promises confidence while delivering jittering instability. The face of a man dependent on coffee is not the face of power. It is the face of strain. A dry complexion, trembling hands, anxious eyes, all disguised beneath the pretense of wakefulness. True energy comes from roots deeper than a cup. It comes from food that nourishes, movement that invigorates, rest that restores. To limit caffeine is to reclaim authority over your own vitality. For a face should not reflect dependence but self-sustained strength. Stress, too, leaves its unmistakable carvings. Wrinkles of tension, eruptions of skin, a dullness in the gaze. It is the tax exacted by a restless mind. The irony is that stress often comes not from life itself, but from how one relates to life. A calm man in a storm looks younger than an anxious man in comfort. For stress is not measured by events, but by inner chaos. The face of serenity, on the other hand, draws people in, for it communicates mastery over oneself. This is why practices like meditation, walking, or laughter seem to slow the clock of age. They are not shallow escapes, but acts of inner governance. To rule your inner world is to preserve the outward image. And then the gravest sin, the excuse of genetics. To utter the words, "I cannot change, it is my inheritance," is to surrender sovereignty over yourself. Genetics is the soil, but habit is the seed, water, and sunlight. The man who blames genetics forgets that most of his appearance is within his hands. History is filled with transformations. Ordinary men who became extraordinary not because they were chosen by nature, but because they chose themselves. Grooming, discipline, posture, dress, diet, sleep. These are levers within reach. When pulled consistently, they reshape the human being into something far beyond the excuses of ancestry. To blame genetics is not humility, it is despair. To claim responsibility is not arrogance, it is liberation. What binds all these truths is one principle. The body is the mirror of the soul's discipline. Your face is not static stone, but clay, forever responding to the sculptor's hand. Every choice you make is a stroke upon it. Touch your skin with unwashed hands, and you carve blemishes. Hide from the sun, and you drain its color. Neglect sleep, and you etch shadows beneath your eyes. Live with balance, and you preserve harmony. Live with chaos, and you distort yourself. And so, when you next confront your reflection, do not ask, "Why am I ugly?" but rather, "What have I been choosing?" For the answer is not in your genetics, not in destiny, but in the unnoticed rituals of your everyday life. You are not condemned, you are not broken, you are simply unshaped. The path to beauty is not in chasing miracles, but in reclaiming responsibility. With each conscious act, you redeem your face, and with it, the presence you carry into the world. Beauty, then, is not vanity. It is alignment. It is the external harmony born of internal discipline. It is the world's first impression of the life you live when no one is watching. And the truth is simple. You are capable of far more beauty than you have yet revealed. All it asks is that you wake from the unconscious habits that erode you and choose instead the rituals that refine you. This is where the true transformation begins.